Good morning. I'm Coach Roy Austin. Looking forward to talking with you this morning, Marjorie.
So we are here at the Coastal Georgia Center, and Roy I've known you for years.
Yes.
I remember when you started the CFO Council back at the
2004, yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it has grown to a wonderful group of CFOs, and we are meeting here live this morning, waiting for everybody to come in. The meeting starts at 7, and you're going to be talking about your new book, Alligator Business Solution.
That's correct.
What is it about?
Okay. Well, the Alligator Business Solution is essentially a user's manual for small businesses. As a business coach, I began to see small businesses all making the same mistakes. And I thought, I could really help these people. But there's only so many people I can work with at a time, so how could I reach a broader audience? And so I started putting together a book, and the title came about actually from a conversation with my granddaughter. Alligators only know 3 things. They know where to look, what to look for, and how to use what they find, which is all a business owner needs to know.
I love it.
They've been around for 150 million years, so they're highly successful, and that's what businesses want, is sustainable success.
Absolutely.
And they have a simple strategy: lurk, lunge, and chomp. Well, what are they doing when they're lurking? They're preparing to lunge. They're getting ready. And this is the area where I saw so many small businesses drop the ball. They don't prepare for their business. They get a great idea, and they just lunge into it. But they're not really quite ready.
So what are the steps that they're missing? And I know they need to read the book or come down here and listen to you.
Well, I think when you're in business, particularly small businesses, you have to manage all the aspects of your business, even the ones you don't like and you don't feel comfortable with, which for an awful lot of people is accounting, it's marketing, it's hiring employees and managing employees, it's getting the right employees and keeping employees. So in order to manage all the aspects of your business, you don't have to be an expert, but you sure can't ignore them.
So is there like a checklist or?
Yeah, in a sense, I guess I haven't thought of it in the context of a checklist, but it's sort of like to understand and manage the accounting side, which is the area I see most people tend to ignore because it's the one that they least understand. So they just kind of turn it over to their accountant and say, I won't look at that stuff. And I've seen some horror stories that got them in trouble because the accountant wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. So to manage your accounting, you don't have to be an expert. But you do need to know where to look, what to look for, and how to use the information so you can tell when something doesn't make sense. And you can ask intelligent questions. The same thing is true of the marketing
What's
side.
one red flag that a business owner should look for on their profit and loss?
Anomalies. When you see something that looks out of place, I'll give you a good example. A guy said, can you help me look at my financial statements and understand them? So we sat down and looked at his QuickBooks, and he ran his P&L, and I ran it, instead of looking year to year, we ran it month by month. And he had one line item of expenses in there that was $3,000 a month, every month until November, and it was $12,000. Now, he didn't see that when he looked at it on a year-to-date basis.
Wow.
But obviously something was wrong. Now, in this case, fortunately, something was in the wrong place. And so there wasn't any fraud involved. But when you see something that just doesn't look right, then you sit down and you talk to your accountant and say, what's going on here? So you don't have to be the expert, like I say, but you just need to know what to look for. And that's what I tried to get across in the book.
Very good. Very good. When did you start writing this book?
I started doing the research in 2010, probably, and accumulated 3x5 cards in the mass volumes for 4 years.
I think having a book is a must for every single business owner because it positions you as the authority in your area of expertise and your background. Tell us about your background because it's substantial.
Well, I worked for Eastman Chemical for many, many years, retired from there, took a job in Savannah, was the chief financial officer for DJ Powers here in Savannah. Did that for many years, and I finally retired from that only because my wife had a lot of health problems, and we needed to take her wherever she needed to go. She got well. That left me retired. I don't do that.
No.
There's only so much tennis my body can stand, so I've got to have some problems and challenges. And so I had already was doing some business coaching, so I just kind of transitioned into that. And then that's where I really began to see all the problems that small businesses have.
Any other glaring problems that if a small business owner is watching this, that you would say, really pay attention to these things, besides the ones we've already talked about?
I think those are the key ones. And, and I mentioned that the title came from a conversation with my granddaughter. When I first moved to this area in 2000, there was an article in the paper about a man at a gated community who was suing because he had been attacked by an alligator in the backyard. 3 months later, he withdrew his lawsuit. It turns out his wife had been feeding the alligator for 2 years. That's why it was in his backyard. Now, what we don't know is whether she was feeding it on purpose to lure it into the backyard to get him. But the alligator waited, it lurked, it lunged, and it chomped. And he got away by sticking his fingers in its eyes. So remember that if you're ever attacked by an alligator.
Oh, gosh.
But I wanted to make the book, I want to provide some humor, some true stories. I interviewed 18 small businesses to get their take and what made them successful.
Case studies are so powerful.
And fortunately, I guess to my surprise, actually, they all were doing the things that I was recommending.
Good.
So they kind of validated what I was saying. And the greatest compliment that I have gotten, Marjorie, is that I was having a beer with a fellow back in October, and he said, I haven't read a book in 20 years. I can't read. I can't focus for long enough. And when we got up to leave, he said, let me buy your book. So I was surprised. Well, a month later, I saw him at a networking session that the Bluffton Chamber was doing, and he rushed up to me and said, Roy, he said, I love your book. He said, my wife can't believe I'm reading. She has never seen me read.
He must be a small business owner.
I am redesigning my whole business plan using this book as a guide. That's the person that I am excited to be able to reach. If I can help those people see things in a little bit different light, then I've accomplished the goal of the book.
Gosh. Well, Roy, for small business owners watching this, how can they get your book?
There's several different places you can order it. One is my website, which is rockwellbusinesssolutions.com. You can order it on Amazon now.
Wow.
You can order it.
Is it available in ebook?
To be honest with you, it will be. It's up there right now. I'm not satisfied with the quality of the ebook, so I told them to take it down until we can get it right.
Okay.
But it's also on a site called GoRead.com, which is a fascinating site where you can connect with authors and readers of genres that you are interested in. It's kind of like Facebook for authors and readers. So if you really enjoy reading and you want to connect, and some of the most famous authors in the world are on this site. So it's really kind of cool.
Yeah. That's well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Job well done, Roy.
Thank you,
I look
Marjorie.
forward to your talk today.
Thank you.
All right.